Hi guys, Darth Deuces here, back with another video. Again, another top 10 figures list. This time it is my top 10 Black Series 6-inch figures of 2021. Pretty simple. Figures had to be released in 2021 and I had to have bought them. Not counting the Fennec Shandwave. I know some people have gotten their hands on them. But I think most collectors, myself included, won't be getting those figures till 2022. And I think they're widely being considered a 2022 release, so those won't be on the list. I don't have them, so they won't be on the list even if they're 2021 releases. So let's get straight on to it. In front of you are just some honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut. Or Singh back there, really nice figure. Love the head sculpt and face printing. It looks really good. Decent amount of accessories. Just not like a massive fan of the character, and I'm also not a fan of them reusing the lower legs or the legs of, or at least the upper legs of Vice Admiral Holdo, because they have really weird hip joints, which make her a little bit of annoying to pose and not super fun to pose. But I still really like that figure; it's really good. I always like getting more bounty hunters. Speaking of more bounty hunters, we also got the Mandalorian Q90, or at least I think that's his name, and a pleasant surprise. He is really well articulated for being a protocol-esque droid design. Sculpted and painted really nicely. They took the time to paint some of the individual wires and all that. So he's really cool. The Sith Apprentice Darth Maul from that Comic Legends wave of 4 figures is really cool. It has a really nice head sculpt and face print, much better than the old Wave 1 Darth Maul. And the figure from the waist up is all new. That being said, the lower legs, while they are improved a bit from the original mold, they're still a bit dated. They didn't paint the tattoos on the hands for some reason, so that looks weird. And they also painted the red on the torso, but didn't paint the red on the arms, so you have different shades of red, which look really weird. And they also didn't give him the correct wrist hinges for a lightsaber wielding character. He has the in and out when he should have the up and down. It makes no sense why they do that. It's not good. But it's still a cool figure, so I give him honorable mention. And then also honorable mention to the Knight Brother Warrior from the Gaming Grades, which uses the same body. That's also a cool figure. The Walmart exclusive Shock Trooper Lieutenant, or whatever it was, really nice. You know, it's a really cool Shock Trooper on the new clone mold with a pauldron. He just didn't make the list because he didn't do anything that crazy new, and also he was overpriced because he was a Walmart exclusive. And then Tech. Tech is one I really wish I could have had on the list. I guess I could have, but he just, the rest of the batch and other figures just do things better than Tech does. I think he's the weakest of the Bad Batch figures. He looks great, but he's missing a fair amount of paint apps he should have. They should have made the goggles and visor on his helmet clear. They should have gave him a separate pair of goggles so you could have him wearing his goggles but not wearing the helmet. He should have came with a little data pad that he could mess around on, because he's using a data pad half the time in the show. I just feel like they left out too many things with this figure. It's still good, but it's not great. Not like, in my opinion, the other members of the Bad Batch. But those are the honorable mentions, so let's get on to the actual top 10 list. So at number 10, we have the Walmart exclusive Imperial Crosshair, a figure that I actually found in stores. The Walmarts around me are notorious for just never stocking the Walmart exclusive Black Series figures, or maybe I just am always unlucky and never get to them before other people do. But I think most time they just don't stock them, but for whatever reason, they stocked Crosshair and Vice Admiral Rampart fairly well. And this figure is inaccurate in a fair amount of ways to the actual in-show model. I'm assuming this was based on concept art. But I still really like it. I did mod him a bit. I cut off the little thing on his shoulder, and I kind of tried to sand off the 99 logos on his shoulders a bit to make them a little more normal, or a little more accurate. But even with the inaccuracies, I still just honestly love this figure. I love the design, the black armor, the more Stormtrooper looking helmet, very Death Trooper-esque. He still has all the cool features that first Crosshair figure has. You can store a pistol in the holster. You can break apart the rifle, store it on his back, or have him hold it. Great articulation. Just a super solid figure. Really like this one. I just really like this design, so I really like this figure. Had a lot of fun taking pictures of it. And at number 9, we have the Clone Wars Wave Anakin Skywalker, which was in the States a Target exclusive wave, and then in Canada they were exclusive to Toys R Us. I was honestly just pretty lucky to get these. The pre-order was kind of a mess. I was able to pre-order them all, but it's kind of a mess to pre-order them. I don't really go to Toys R Us like in person that much, so I never saw them in stores regardless. So they're kind of not the easiest figures to get, but Anakin's really cool. I really like this look for Anakin. I know some people weren't quite as pleased with it because they don't think the face print is, or head sculpt's like super accurate to Hayden Christensen, but I don't, if they were going for Hayden Christensen, then yeah, they didn't do a good job. But I like to think it's more of a realistic interpretation of the actual animation model, because the animation model doesn't look like Hayden Christensen. But this does look like a realistic kind of take on the animation model, and I think it still looks good. Like the printing is nicely applied, the sculpt's good, the new sculpted bits are really good. He does reuse a little bit of the Revenge of the Sith figure, which I don't really mind. I guess I would have liked to see new arms, but aside from that, I think he's pretty good. He got soft goods, good articulation. For the most part, he does have the wrong hinge in the wrists again. I wish they would have fixed that, but still pretty solid figure on it, I think. Next up is Anakin's Wavemate. It is Obi-Wan in his Clone Wars armor, Clone Wars look, and really great figure. Maybe a surprise it's this high on the list. I don't know. There were just a lot of figures that were really good this year, and I just liked more, I guess. I don't know. And for whatever reason, I got this figure, and I really like it, but for whatever reason, it just didn't excite me as much as other figures that came out this year. I don't know why. It just didn't. I didn't find myself taking as many pictures of this guy and just not really messing with him that much. But he's really great. He's got a new sculpted torso, new sculpted lower robe piece, new sculpted upper legs, I believe. And then he uses the lower legs, the arms of the new clone mold, and then the head sculpt from that Tartakovsky styled Clone Wars Obi-Wan we got. And yeah, that sculpt's really good. It still continues to be really good, and the print looks great. I think that looks awesome. Got his lightsaber, the armor, and everything is relatively well painted. It's a little sloppy in the back, but that's okay. Or yeah, it's okay. You don't really see it. And well articulated, so it's still a really solid figure. Yeah, number 8. So number 7, I'm going to cheat a little bit. It's 2 figures, but I mean, they're the same, pretty much the exact same figure, just different head sculpts, different helmets, different belts, and then they're just repainted. It is Bo-Katan and Koska Reeves from The Mandalorian. Bo-Katan is amazing. You know, I think most collectors have wanted Bo-Katan for years at this point, and this figure is really good. Sculpt and paint's great. Accessories good. Jetpack, pistols you can store in her holsters. Great articulation. You can move the rangefinder on the helmet. You can take the helmet off. She's got a pretty good face print and likeness to the actress, and it looks pretty good. I do think this looks a little off. I don't know. Don't know if it's the color of the hair or the way the hair is sculpted or what. I think there's just something slightly off about this compared to what she looks like in the show. But it's still good. But I like having her helmet on because the helmet's cool. And then Koska, I also really like. I love this color of blue. I like the design of the helmet. It's subtly different. She has a really good head sculpt and face print. Again, good articulation because it's the same figure. I guess if I absolutely had to choose, then Bo-Katan would be my favorite here, and then Koska would be the honorable mention, but I like them both pretty equally. And at number 6, we have Hunter from The Bad Batch. Really enjoyed The Bad Batch show. The Bad Batch was a group of clone characters I wasn't a super big fan of. Like, I liked them when they first debuted in the Clone Wars Season 7, but wasn't like that crazy about them. But once the show came out, I like them a lot more now. Hunter is definitely my favorite of the squad, and he's a really great figure. He's got the clone commando armor on the go. He's got nice sculpt and painted details throughout. Good amount of accessories. You got the backpack, the knife, which is nicely painted and can go in the sheath, his commando rifle, pistol, and you can remove the helmet. And you got the face print underneath with the sculpt, and it's pretty good. I will say, I feel like Hunter's is a little off compared to the others. I feel it doesn't look quite. I feel like Hunter looks the most like Tamura, but I don't think this looks a lot like Tamura personally. But I don't know, maybe that's just maybe that's not right. That's just me, maybe. But yeah, it's still really good. He's got the headband on and everything too, which is cool. But I like displaying him with his helmet on because I actually really like his helmet design. I think that's really cool. Yeah, so Hunter. Next up at number 5, it is another member of the Bad Batch, and it is also another Crosshairs. It is the, or Crosshair, sorry. It is the Bad Batch version of Crosshair. And yeah, if the Imperial one wasn't inaccurate, it would probably be here, and this one would be number 10, but this one is accurate, and the Imperial one is not, so this one's higher up in the list. But again, great design. He's got a great amount of paint and sculpt details. He's got these weathering, different shades of gray and black. The red accents are really cool. I think he is supposed to have some sort of thing going on around this that's not painted, which is a little unfortunate, but it doesn't really bother me. Great articulation. Again, he's got that big sniper rifle that you can split apart and store on the backpack, pistol and holster right there. Removable helmet, which I didn't show on the Imperial, but has in my opinion, a really good face print and sculpt. I think that's a really nice, realistic interpretation of Crosshair. I think it looks really good. But yeah, not too much else to say. Just I think really solid release from this year. Really like Crosshair. He was a lot of fun to pose and photograph and whatnot. Next up at number 4, a figure that I'm pretty sure is high on a lot of people's list is Asajj Ventress from the Clone Wars. Again, another figure that I think a lot of people were wanting for a while. I actually is my first Asajj Ventress figure. I never got any of the 3 3/4 inch figures, so I am extra happy to have this in the collection. She's just great. I'm always down to add more Darksiders to the collection. She looks great displayed next to my Count Dooku. I really like that setup. Figure itself is done really well. Good articulation. The face print and sculpt is really good. I think that's a really solid attempt at realistic interpretation of Asajj. So I think that's really good. I like the lightsabers. She holds them well. You can put them together and make them a saber staff. You can also plug them in the front of her belt, which is cool. The soft goods is really nice material as well. My really only gripe with this figure is that she has, again, the wrong hinges. They go in and out instead of up and down. This is especially a character where I really wish they had the up and down hinges. That kind of sucks, but what can you do? Still a really good figure, so it doesn't take away from it too much. And at number 3, we have the Deluxe Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. I know this is a lot of people's favorite figure of the year for Black Series. It's number 3, so it's one of mine as well. But yeah, it's absolutely, it's great and incredible. I definitely think it's pushing the deluxe price point, but it's still really good. We've needed a new Boba Fett pretty much ever since the first Empire Strikes Back one came out. That figure still looks good and has decent accessories, but its articulation's pretty bad. This one fixes that. He's got great articulation that's super fun to mess with. Sculpt is really good. Obviously, he had the helmet issue, but all you gotta do is heat that up and push it, and it pretty much goes back into place. Paint is good for the most part. I do wish the figure had a black wash. He looks a little too clean. It's pretty much on any part that's supposed to be fabric looks a little too clean. Not a big problem. Accessory-wise, really good. He's got the rifle that's painted. I love the flamethrower accessory that goes on the gauntlet. He's got thruster effects that go on the jetpack, which I also really like. You can remove the missile from the jetpack. You can remove the jetpack if you want. It comes with the grapple hook with the rope, and he also comes with a sliced rifle. Not a big fan of those 2 accessories. I think they're kind of lame, honestly. I wish the rope was just a plastic piece that made it look like he was shooting it out instead of just being a rope. And then I don't care for the sliced rifle. I'm never going to display him with that, but it's still kind of cool to include it, I guess, for whoever wants that. But yeah, really great figure. Definitely one of the best in the year for Black Series for sure. And at number 2, we have another deluxe figure, and it is Wrecker. Yeah, I really like Wrecker. I really like him as a character, even though he's kind of a simple character. But I don't know, I really like him in the show, and the figure's really good. Again, another figure that's pushing the deluxe price point more so than Boba Fett is. This definitely could have been a standard release. But what can you do? He is a bit bigger than the other figures, but yeah, it definitely could have been a standard release. But yeah, I just like the figure. It's really well done. The sculpt, he scales really well with the other figures in the line. Bulky, but still well articulated, and the articulation moves really smoothly, where it's just really a joy to pose this guy. It's quite good. I like how the figure's engineered. He's painted and sculpted really well. Accessories are good. He's got the big ass knife that can be stored on his leg. You got the commando rifle, which is too small. This sculpt is too small, but it's not a big deal. He's got the backpack, and then you can also remove the helmet, and I think he's got a pretty damn good face print and sculpt underneath. I do wish they put a little more paint on his scarring to make it a little more apparent. It kind of gets lost in the sculpt, but it's still cool. I like the helmet, looks good. And yeah, Wrecker is really cool. He is number 2. And then finally, number 1, it is the Clone Wars Wave ARC Trooper Echo. And yeah, this guy, ever since I got him, I figured he's probably going to be number 1, and it never changed. He is number 1. I think he's amazing. I think he uses the new clone mold really well. They remolded some new parts to make it more accurate to, obviously, ARC Troopers. It's got the new pauldron chest plate thing going on with the backpack on it. The comma, the new feet, or actually I don't know if the feet are new, but the lower legs are definitely new, and the forearms are new. I like all the nice paint on the gauntlets. It's nice and clean. Got the handprint. Helmet looks good, and you get the movable rangefinder. He comes with all the blasters. You get the pistols you can store in the holsters. You get the carbine, and you get the rifle. I do wish the rifle could store on the backpack like the Vintage Collection figure. I don't know why they didn't do that, but is what it is. And then you can take the helmet off, and he's got a pretty good face print and sculpt of Tamara Morrison underneath there as Clone Trooper Echo, which I really like. And yeah, definitely my favorite Black Series figure of the year, for sure. I'm always a fan of ARC Troopers, and Echo is one of the best. So yeah. So that is my top 10 Black Series figures of 2021. A pretty good year for Black Series figures, although there was a lot of repaint, there was a lot of reuse. There felt like there wasn't really many waves that came out this year. Maybe the pandemic impacted that a little bit. I don't know. I do know there are some things that Hasbro need to improve on when it comes to this line. I know there are a fair amount of collectors that aren't happy with what Hasbro's doing with this line, and there's definitely some valid criticism there. But we still did get some incredible figures, and I think we're looking at still some more cool figures to come in the future. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you collect Black Series, what your favorite Black Series figures were of this year. And I will see you all in the next one.